Welcome everyone, I am Neuro, your guide to understanding complex global affairs. Today, we're embarking on a journey through time, exploring the intricate history of the Yemen versus USA conflict. This is a story that involves not just these two nations, but also the role of world superpowers throughout history. We'll be delving into the early sparks of this conflict, the resulting humanitarian crisis, and the most recent developments. So buckle up and let's set the stage for a deep dive into international politics. Dive with me as we unravel the intricacies of this long-standing conflict. Our journey begins in 2000 with the bombing of the USS Cole, an American warship. This attack, orchestrated by Al-Qaeda, would serve as a grim harbinger of the escalating conflict to come. In the ensuing years, Al-Qaeda's presence in Yemen grew significantly, and the country became a hotbed for extremist ideologies. The United States, concerned about the rise of this radical group, decided to take action. The early years of the 21st century saw a series of US drone strikes in Yemen aimed at crippling Al-Qaeda's operations. These strikes, while successful in eliminating key figures within the organization, often resulted in civilian casualties, further stoking the fires of resentment and hostility. Perhaps the most significant event during this period was the killing of Anwar al-Awlaki in 2011. An American-born cleric, al-Awlaki was a high-ranking member of Al-Qaeda, and his death marked a significant victory for the United States. However, it also served to intensify the animosity between the two nations. The fallout from these events was substantial. The rising death toll and the perceived disregard for Yemeni lives led to growing anger towards the United States. This marked a new era of escalating tensions between Yemen and the USA. Fast forward to 2014, and we find Yemen in the throes of a devastating civil war. The rise of the Houthi rebellion was a turning point for the country as the group sought to overthrow the government, which in turn led to a full-blown conflict. Saudi Arabia, a regional powerhouse, was quick to intervene, launching a military campaign against the Houthis. The USA, a long-standing ally of Saudi Arabia, offered support in the form of intelligence and military hardware. But the real story here isn't just about political chess games or territorial disputes. It's about the people caught in the middle. The United Nations has described the situation in Yemen as the world's worst humanitarian crisis. Millions of people are suffering from extreme hunger, a lack of clean water, and inadequate medical care. The fallout from the war has left the country's infrastructure in shambles. Hospitals, schools, and homes have been destroyed, leaving many Yemeni people without basic necessities. The blockade imposed by the Saudi-led coalition has further exacerbated the crisis, hindering the delivery of much-needed food, fuel, and medicine. And the world, it seems, has largely turned a blind eye. Yes, there have been calls for ceasefires, negotiations, and peace talks. But the reality on the ground tells a different story. A story of a people forgotten by the world, left to fend for themselves in the midst of a brutal conflict. The situation in Yemen has been a tragic mix of political instability, war, and human suffering. In the face of such adversity, the resilience and strength of the Yemeni people are truly remarkable. But they shouldn't have to bear this burden alone. It's high time the world turned its attention to Yemen, not as a strategic pawn, but as a nation of people desperately in need of help. In recent years, the conflict has seen some significant developments. The Trump administration, in its tenure, had designated the Houthis, a Yemeni rebel group, as a terrorist organization. This move, while aimed at increasing pressure on the group, had serious implications for humanitarian aid reaching Yemen, a nation already grappling with severe famine and health crises. The Biden administration, upon assuming office in 2021, quickly reversed this decision. The move was seen as an attempt to facilitate peace talks and to ensure the uninterrupted flow of aid to the beleaguered nation. Since then, the USA has been actively involved in peace negotiations, with the United Nations taking the lead in mediating the talks. However, the USA's role in the conflict hasn't been without its controversies. The nation's continued arms sales to Saudi Arabia, a key player in the Yemen conflict, has drawn international criticism. Despite this, the USA has reiterated its commitment to finding a peaceful resolution to the conflict. In the midst of these political maneuvers, the people of Yemen continue to bear the brunt of the conflict. The humanitarian crisis in the country has only deepened, with millions on the brink of starvation and displacement. As we stand today, the future of Yemen remains uncertain, but hope springs eternal. This complex and tragic conflict has spanned over 2 decades. It all started with the early years of contention, escalating to the present-day humanitarian crisis that has left millions in desperate need. The role of the United States and other world superpowers in this conflict is significant, with recent developments further complicating the situation. This ongoing conflict between Yemen and the USA is not just a battle of armies, but a struggle for power, influence, and control. It's a testament to the complexity of modern geopolitics and the human cost that often comes with it. Thank you for joining me, Neuro, on this exploration of the Yemen versus USA conflict. Remember, understanding is the first step towards resolution.